So when speaking about Italy, the first thing that probably doesn't come to mind is watchmaking, but there is an independent brand called Venezianico. More specifically, their redentore Avventurina is a watch that I just recently added to my collection for my 35th birthday. And in fact, it was a gift from the wife. Now, the first thing that I want to highlight for this company here is their customer service. And it all started in 2023 at the Watch and Wine Fair, where we were actually able to speak with one of the owners, the brothers, and his staff. And it was a really good experience. They were able to tell us the passion behind the watches, and they were able to explain to us all the models in detail and really connect with us and listen to what we think about their collection. And in turn, it further extended into the purchasing process for my wife, because the owner himself made sure to contact her just to make sure that she was happy with the purchase after the fact and make sure that I'm happy with the gift as well. So obviously, this is part of my collection. It was fully paid, and I'm not getting paid as a promotion to make this video. I just want to take the time to highlight independent brands because I feel like moving forward, they're going to give us the best value. And I want to make sure to be able to give that kind of exposure to a brand that actually deserves it. So without further ado, guys, let's get into it. All right, guys, let's take a look at the packaging. Now, I was rather impressed with this packaging. I like the bubble-like letters on there, and I do like the nice, clean, all-white packaging on this. Kind of remind me of opening up like an Apple product. Now, this paper that we got here, kind of like a magazine for the company, is something that came with the outer box, which I no longer have, unfortunately, because I didn't get around to making this video. I tore this thing open for my birthday. As you know, this was a gift. So let's open it up here. Let's move this packaging on the top, the little slip through. They got their Venezianico sign there with the symbol, of course. And if I can get this open, there we go. All right, let's push this to the side for now. And in the upper part of the box, we got a couple of books here. Let me pull this out. Not an easy thing to do with these fancy black gloves that I'm trying to wear on this occasion. But all right, so we have this card first. Logo is on there as well. And this is going to be the authentication and warranty card. So that was nice. Told us when it was produced. And then this, if we open it up here, this is going to be a Join Our Owners Club card and has a code on there too. So that's pretty nice. And then behind that, we have, it looks like a map. Yeah, this is a map of Italy. So that's a pretty nice, personal touch that they have on here, fold out. So let me open it up here. And yep, we got a whole map here, just showing you guys the layout and everything else. So pretty nice. Some more information on that. So I'll probably read that a little bit later on just to get a better understanding. But, for the sake of the video, we want to get to the watch, I'm sure. So now this is the watch, and this is how it comes. So I actually got the metal bracelet on there, but it comes on this Italian blue leather, and the colorway is very nice. The quality is very good as well. I mean, I don't know if it's the best, and there's another card in here. This is just letting you know, if you get to a certain point in opening the watch that it won't be able to be returned. But let's take the watch off of the roll here. Now, that roll is pretty tightly packed in there. It was nicely fitted, and it has a lot of cushion, so pretty safe inside the packaging, and nice little touch on that. But this is the watch, guys. Check out that dial, man. Absolutely marvelous. Beautiful dial. This blue strap is very nice Italian leather, and I didn't need to break it in. To be honest with you, it was pretty much soft coming out of the case. But again, I swapped out that bracelet. I swapped out that band rather later on for the bracelet, and I'm going to show you guys the quality on that next. But it's very nicely packaged, man. I wish I could have got it when I had the stickers on there, but I was like a kid on Christmas. I couldn't help myself. I ripped this thing open. But buckle is got the little logo on there. Well done, well nice engraved, and that dial is to die for. It's absolutely gorgeous. I absolutely love it. I mean, look at that thing when it catches the light. You got the copper reflecting off that aventurine glass, which is like a blue hued glass. And let's put it on wrist. Now, keep in mind, I have about a 7.25 inch wrist width, and I've got about a 46 millimeter wrist width, just so you guys can compare it on your wrist. I mean, on mine, it fits like a glove. I really do like the way it, really fits on wrist here. and that's what it's going to look like on my wrist. Very handsome, very easy to dress up. I actually wore this to a wedding not too long ago. I wore a blue suit. It's actually it's actually now my logo. So in case you guys want a reference, I decided to wear that to an Italian wedding actually. So very fitting. And even if it wasn't, man, this watch is absolutely a home run to wear in a kind of dressy format. So this is how it looks on wrist, guys. We're going to dive deep on the specs next, so stay tuned. Running through her specifications, she's going to be a 316L stainless steel case, aventurine glass, of course, for that dial. Dimensions are going to be 40 millimeters in diameter, 46.7 lug to lug, and 11 millimeters of thickness. So she's going to fit snug right underneath that cuff when you need it. 20 millimeters of lug width. The crown's going to be 6 millimeters wide, 3.5 millimeters of thickness. The movement, NH35 by Seiko. Not mad at that. Reliable, easy service call. Just swap out the movement. Don't bother getting it serviced from a watchmaker. Much more affordable to do that. Sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating. The bezel's also going to be 316 stainless steel polished. Give that extension of the shimmering dial onto the shimmering bezel. Water resistance, 50 meters. Not going to be deep sea diving with her. We're going to be dressing to impress. We're not going to be doing anything too extravagant in some aquatic scenery here. The strap comes with a real leather made from Italy. Now, I chose to put this on a stainless steel bracelet. You can do that for an additional $85, and I definitely think it's worth it. The bracelet is very, very nice. H-link style, polished in the middle, brushed on the sides. It does have a clasp that is going to be specific on how you close it. You got to close it right on one side to get it to fit perfectly in closing it. But I actually don't mind that. Some people do. I think that it gives it more of a continuous thing, but that's up to you. On the straps, we're going to start off at 20 millimeters at the top, and it's going to taper down to 16 millimeters on the bottom. And fun fact, on leather straps, I like to give her a nice little sniff when I open the box. Maybe it's just me. Let me know if you guys do the same thing. On the bracelet, it's going to also have a taper starting off at 20 millimeters, of course, and then tapering down to 60 millimeters. Now, I maybe would have preferred it to be around 18 on the bracelet, but I have a little bit of a bigger size wrist, so maybe that's the reason why. But still, I like the design of it tapering down on both. The Aventurina has a low domed curved crystal. The crown is signed in onion shaped, and it has crown guards that travel about halfway up it just to protect it. The hands are dolphin styled, polished, and the second hand fully extends out to the edge of the crystal. The only thing at the 12 o'clock that you'll find on the dial is the logo of the company, and the case back is engraved with a nicely detailed church. It's done to perfection, and it's screwed down instead of it being a screwed down case back. So it almost wouldn't be a completed review unless I gave you guys some pros on the cons on the watch, and I'm going to start off with the pros. Number one is the obvious, the dial. It's absolutely magnificent. I mean, it gives you that stargazing effect, and I live here in New York, so there aren't too many stars out to see at night. So it really is nice to look down at that dial and really get that kind of effect. And I have to say it's very, very polarizing. Pro number two, it's a palette cleanser. Very minimalistic. The only thing on the dial is their logo at the 12 o'clock, but they took away everything else. And I'm not sure if that was a struggle or if it was very intentional, because I know you could lose a lot of people when you do that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, I really think it alludes to that really minimalistic style, and it really shows that they're carrying that into the watch, and it's very intentional to go along with that elegance. Double lug holes. Now, I never thought that this would be on the list of pros, but I want to tell you why I think that's a very positive thing, especially when we're talking about the leather strap. So the leather strap is curved in the end going into the case, and with the second hole, it brings that leather strap closer to the case, making it look more integrated. And I really feel that that was a good thing, but it is a double-edged sword, and we'll talk about that in the cons. It's well finished from the front of the case to the back of the case back, to the bracelet. There's a lot of attention in detail, so that is something to definitely talk about and definitely put forward for the company. I mean, they really took their time with this watch, and you can see a lot of intentionality in all the details that they've done throughout the entire watch, and I really think that's a strong positive thing to say about the watch. So let's talk about some cons. Even though the watch does have AR coating, it does still have a lot of glare in it. I have to say that when it catches the light, maybe it has something to do with that dial and the copper and a lot of polished pieces to it. And that's another thing I want to speak towards. The polishing around the case makes it a fingerprint magnet. And it is a little bit annoying. I mean, if you're looking to get something polished, it kind of comes with the territory, but it is something to mention on there. So I wanted to make note of it. Now, I don't know if you noticed, I didn't mention anything about lume because there just isn't any. This watch doesn't have any lume. And for me, that's not really too much of a negative thing. I'm not too particular in needing lume in a watch, especially in a dress watch of this caliber. I know for some people, that's something that they want on every watch, but it is something to note if you are looking for this and you do want lume. This is not gonna have lume anywhere near the watch. Now, I know I put the bracelet in the finishing being a positive, but it is polished in the center links. And I have to note that when I'm wearing the watch, as I often do, that polished part, again, not only is it going to pick up fingerprints, but it's going to be very, very susceptible to scratches because of the nature of it being polished. So expect there to be some war scars on there very early on. It's just the nature of the beast, I guess. The price is something to note as well. $550. Now, a lot of people are going to have a very hard time swallowing the price of the watch being at $550 and it being an NH35, despite it having a lot of finished pieces on it, despite it having that miraculous dial. A lot of people are still going to argue that an NH35 shouldn't be costing that much. I probably would say that it's very, very borderline. I mean, it's definitely at the maximum capacity that it could be on price. And I would also note that the bracelet is a separate cost, being $85. And I would think that Venezianico would probably do a lot better if they included both straps when they purchased the watch. If you gave the bracelet with the leather strap, I think people then could justify the $550 cost on the watch because of all the positive things that it's coming with it. Now, I mentioned the double lugs being a double-edged sword, and there's a reason for that. Now, when you're trying to put the leather strap back on, it is curved, and sometimes it'll catch one of those holes offset, and you kind of have to fiddle with it more than you would on a normal bracelet or strap. So I really think that what Venezianico needs to do moving forward is just put a quick release strap. This way, when you have to strap change, it'll be so much easier to readjust if you misalign one of those holes. And finally, the last con that I would say is probably me nitpicking. But I think that it's hard sometimes to set the time. But when you're buying the watch, you're seeing how minimalistic it is in its features. So you kind of expect that kind of thing to come with it. But it is something to note, if you're on an in-between minute time, it is going to be hard for you to correctly set the time at that point. But for me, I don't really think that that's a big issue, and it doesn't really bother me at all. All right, guys, so that's my review on the Venezianico Redentore Avventurina. And I hope you guys enjoyed the review. If you didn't catch my last one, click right here to see the last review I did on Third Watch. They're actually a new micro brand that came out. And if you missed that video and you have some more time, please tune into that one next. I thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.